So don't worry, all is not lost. But this is gardening with me. Like, some things are doing incredibly well, like these zucchinis, and others just not going great. So if you also have experiences like this in the garden, you're in the right place. Hi. Welcome to today's garden vlog featuring skunks, sad seedlings, but a whole lot of optimism. It's the end of April, moving into May in this vlog, and we're out in the garden working. Come along. We're going to start here with some of the seedlings I have indoors by my south-facing window. I'm calling these the sad tomatoes. These are some sancolas or sancholas. I don't know how to pronounce them. This one might be doing okay. This one is on its way to dead. I don't know. It's been really challenging. I'm going to get into all of my tomato challenges later in the video, but here's just a quick overview of the seedlings that will be planted outside later in the season when it warms up. Hot peppers, some calendula, and those tomatoes. After like a week and a half of not being out in the garden working, we were on vacation, and then when we came back, there's just a million things to do with two little kids. I'm sure you can hear the baby in the background. I finally got out into the garden today. We went to Home Depot. We got those metal pieces to shore up the raised garden bed on the side where the rocks are pushing it in a little. I go out there. It's not working the way I wanted to. I filmed. I'm not even sure I'm going to include that footage. And I'm out there with the baby. We're all happy. I'm starting to put some old soil in this raised garden bed. And of course it starts raining. That being said, baby and I are back inside. We'll find something else to do. Maybe the houseplants need watering. Dinner definitely needs cooking. And I'll restart the garden vlog when I get back out into the garden. And a few days after that happened, to my surprise, a skunk is digging up the stones and underneath my garden bed. This was so defeating. The same skunk came twice a day for 4 or 5 days in a row. I know that there's an old tree trunk that's rotting and has grubs underneath, but look how deep it got, and it just kept coming back to dig. I basically stopped doing workout on this garden bed because I needed to deal with the skunk before anything else. I had squirrels last year dig up plants from the in-ground garden that was here, but I'd never had to deal with skunks before. So I went to my local garden center and they recommended a product called Critter Ritter that I just kind of sprinkled around the outside. It's actually worked really well. The skunk hasn't come back. It's not supposed to hurt animals. I'll leave a link down below for it. Okay, so one thing I really struggled with this year as I started my seeds inside were tomatoes. I showed you the sancolas or sancholas upstairs. They don't look good. I potted them anyways to see what we could do. I do have some that look good. These tiny Tims look fantastic. My sister-in-law has started these many years and has done really well with them. She's given them to me when they've been this size. They've grown, they've produced a lot of fruit, really great variety. These are from West Coast Seeds. They look great. I think if you watch my other videos, you'll know I was pretty excited about these Optimax Romas that I bought from West Coast Seeds. And they were expensive. I bought 10 seeds for something like $8. And yeah, like they're either 70% dead, 100% dead, alive, but not thriving. And I mean, like, here's another one I did. Like, they're not happy. They're not happy campers. And I'm going to do a whole video on all the mistakes I made with these Roma tomatoes. But I will say, not all is lost. Because for $8, Costco had this 6-pack and like they look great. We're going to be planting these in the garden. I grabbed them. My Costco sells out of seedlings, especially some that are popular like Roma tomatoes, and I really want this variety for canning later in the year. So don't worry, all is not lost. But this is gardening with me. Like, some things are doing incredibly well, like these zucchinis, and others just not going great. So if you also have experiences like this in the garden, you're in the right place. Hi. I thought I'd take you around to my front yard to show you this beautiful crabapple tree that's in bloom, some of the hostas and that perennial sage we have, and this other side of my garden that we're going to experiment in this year. It's a lemon candy 9 bark that I bought from my local nursery last year. Unfortunately, it did not survive the winter, but my nursery has a great policy where if you bring it back, they'll give you a refund if it dies within the first year. Next to it is a pretty lavender bush that my sister-in-law gave me last year, and we have a hosta at the end. This is south facing, and I've decided I'm going to try putting some tomatoes in here just because we get such lovely sunlight that comes in and it's nice and hot. I think the tomatoes will absolutely thrive here. So I'm going to dig this bush up to return to my garden center, and I'm realizing as I dig it out, it comes out so easily because the root ball is really intact. I'm wondering if I should have maybe beat it up a little bit more before I planted it, but I'm showing you there's some really cool worms that are in it. So for my last garden task of today, I'm going to transplant some of my romaine. It's the Rouge d'Hiver variety that I got from West Coast Seeds and started the seedlings inside. They look so nice. I found these pots in the garage. They were left by the previous owners, and they look like they might have held like decorative plants or something from a garden center, but hey, they're gonna work perfectly for this. They have drainage holes in the bottom, and I just filled them with new potting mix. Such a joy to plant these seedlings. The roots look great. The tops are great. They planted really well. These are from the 17th of March. That's when I started all four. And they would have been planted here in the first or second week of May. So they've had maybe 5 or 6 weeks to grow as seedlings. They probably could have been transplanted a week or two ago when I did the butter crunch lettuce, but I didn't have these pots ready at the time. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video today to see the ups and downs, the joys and the heartbreaks of gardening here in Toronto. If you like this video, I'll leave a link to some of my other gardening vlogs down below, and please consider subscribing before you go. Have a great day.